Good evening, everybody. This is John Creamer and Nathan Kingsley with Grunts in Appalachia, coming to you with a special episode tonight with a guest with us here, Alejandro Vence, also known as the most interesting man in Huntington. That's how I refer to him. Known him for a couple years. Alejandro, how we doing today?
Very good. Thank you for the intro.
Absolutely.
And I usually don't do podcasts, but when I do it with the Appalachia Grunts.
That's right, baby.
That's right. I love to know that you're here and that you were exclusively here with us tonight.
I feel like I should have introduced you with the DJ Stripper voice, though. Like,
You could.
coming in next, we got Alejandro Vence, the most interesting man in Huntington.
I always feel like I'm going to mispronounce Alejandro, so I say Alex a lot. You know what I mean? But that's just kind of my thing, I guess. I don't know. Like, so I feel like I'm not down with the flavor.
No, that's okay. That's cool.
And what is that flavor? Where are you from, Alejandro?
I am from Havana, Cuba.
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 And how did you wind up in the hills of Appalachia?
Well, I went to military high school in Virginia. And while I was there, I met a lady from Huntington, West Virginia. We dated all through high school and graduated. I moved here with her. We had a child. And after 3 years here, I was young, 20 years old. So got a divorce, went back to Puerto Rico. That's where I was raised. After 30 some years, I came back. My son is here. My son is born here. He's from Huntington. He said, "Hey, Dad, why don't you come to Huntington and let's do something?" I was living in Florida at the time. And I said, "Well, okay, I'll think about it." And we put the house on the market, sold it, and he couldn't believe it.
So, Alex, when you were in Cuba, how long were you there?
I left there when I was 8 years old. But the deal was when Castro took over, the state had the rights to the children. Even if you were a parent, the state said, "I'm taking your kid, and your kid is coming to pick up cut cane." You had to go. You couldn't say anything. So you had to have somebody outside of Cuba on U.S. soil to claim you so you could get your paperwork and get out.
How did you get out?
My parents left first, and I stayed there with my grandmother and my sister and my brother. And they worked, they went to Spain. From Spain, they went to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is U.S. territory, so that qualified for being in the U.S. soil. Then we went from Cuba to Spain. I lived in Madrid for about 8 months until we got all the paperwork to be able to come into the States. So we did the whole immigrant thing, eating on city missions, standing on line, getting clothes from people bringing you clothes, because we left there with nothing. I mean, you were able to leave with very few personal items.
And you were just waiting to come to the U.S.
To the U.S.
One of the things that I want to touch on here is that you did come from Cuba and you came to Appalachia and you've been living here for, you said, 30 years, correct?
I've been here for 20 years.
20 years.
Then 3 years prior to that when I was going to Marshall.
Just out of curiosity, I know there's a lot of not staples. There's a lot of things that people have in this area that people stigmatize racism, because the state is so primarily, or the Appalachian region is primarily white dominated. What was the reception that you had coming from another country into the Appalachian area?
I will be very honest. I have never felt more welcome
That's amazing.
than any other state. I felt more racism in Florida not from the Floridians or the original American Floridians, from other minorities.
That's huge.
So
that's big.
So it's I have met a lot of people here. You're always going to get that, we humans we're, no matter what anybody says, we're racist. It doesn't, in the way not of hate, but the Apaches didn't get along with the other tribes. So it's the way of human nature. Some people have taken it, a little bit too far. It's been a wonderful experience. People here are really nice. I love the mountains. I really like it. We have made some good friends here.
Well, Alex, I know that you are a cycler, and we're gonna in a little bit here we'll come back to that. We'll talk about you cycling throughout Appalachia and all that stuff. I mean, what I'm the most interested in, and I find, it's so interesting. Is like, I can't imagine. I take it for granted sometimes, my situation. I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but I didn't have to wait in the chow line in order to be an American. And the fact that you made those efforts, I can't imagine that as a child. It had to have seemed like in your mind, maybe as a kid, you were like, this is what I'm about to achieve. And I know you've taken the ball and ran with that. It opened you up to a whole nother aspect of life. The hardships that you went through to be here, to come here in America.
Well, going back to what you said at the beginning, you take for granted, and I see a lot of people.
Well, I didn't mean that I'm not proud and I'm not whatever, but
I know what you.
I was born into this.
Yeah, so to you it was normal.
It was normal. I shouldn't say take for granted because I don't take anything for granted like that.
It was a normal thing. When you go through what a lot of people go through, you appreciate a lot of things more when you have to go through a little hardship or go through a little rough road. I feel, and I know a lot of people, I feel very, very patriotic about being a U.S. citizen.
And I love that.
Here's my question. In the Marine Corps infantry, you talked about the Cuban government would come around, pick kids up, make them work in the fields. In the infantry, we would go to chow and come back, and we would sleep underneath our racks to hide because they'd always be looking for working parties afterwards. Well, and we would hide out. So I'm curious, did the kids try to hide?
My grandmother tried to hide me. So after I didn't show up for school for a couple of days, like she would send me one day and then keep me home a couple of days. They send a committee. What's going on with him? How come you're not sending him to school? There was a lot of doctrine going on in school. You were really learning math, or they wanted you to become this kid with the communist idea in your head from the minute you walked into school. And my grandma, grandmas are grandma. She didn't want me going and being.
God bless her. God bless her.
I remember one instance. I had, not now, but I had longer hair, and I was a kid, so I had.
John has long hair, and it's gross. It makes me sick.
No,
like I'm gonna cut it probably because male pattern baldness has not been my friend.
No, I'll just wait till you pass out and I'll cut your beard off.
Yeah, well, try that.
Yeah, so they chopped all my hair off in school. They sent me home, and that's what got the no going to school so often.
That pissed Grandma off. Grandma got pissed right off.
Pissed.
Yeah. Guess who's staying at home?
So now in Huntington, what do you do?
In Huntington, I am a business owner. We own a cocktail bar called the Jockey Club. I don't own a horse, but we call it the Jockey Club.
Well, you're built like a jockey.
Oh, thank you. That means that I'm little and fragile.
Yeah, cute.
I don't think there's anything fragile about it. I mean, I've been in one of your establishments and watched you have to throw some rowdy cats out. I mean, it was pretty wild.
So
you're not fragile.
And then we owned another bar called Evolve. It's more of a nightclub dance kind of thing.
That's cool. And that's right here in downtown Huntington.
So right here downtown.
If you're in Huntington listening to this, make sure you stop in the Jockey Club, get yourself a drink, go into Evolve, have yourself a little dance.
Also, you may see John and I checking your IDs and patting you down.
Strong
and you don't know. You know, you're not sure what you're going to see. You may see us.
Well, you're not sure what you're going to see in Huntington anytime.
That's true.
It could be an experience.
Exactly. We'll just leave it at that. An experience.
Yeah, Huntington, weird
for sure. Tell me something like the most interesting thing that's ever happened to you in one of your nightclubs. What's like the craziest night that you can think of off the top of your head? I can tell you're going through a lot of stories in your head right now, trying to pick one out.
Trying to pick one out.
How many nightclubs have you owned in Huntington? I know this has been an ongoing thing for...
Yes, we have owned 3 before these 2 that we have now. So a total of 5.
We just got to get you to relax a little bit here. I mean, when I asked Alejandro, hey, you want to come on the show? I get a text back. What are we going to talk about? The sexual preferences of jackrabbits? Like, let it loose, brother.
I mean... Do you want to tell us about the sexual preference of jackrabbits, or what?
I didn't do the research It was just. So,
I thought maybe you just knew.
No, I didn't know. I knew that rabbits are pretty active on their sexual activities, but I didn't do the research.
Are jackrabbits more active? Or
They might be. I know the stump. Boom, boom, boom.
well, you heard that.
So I had a person one time. This was a pretty had in common buy 5 bottles of champagne. I want 5 bottles of champagne. I said, well, they're $150 each. He goes, okay, no problem. I go get the bottles, and the man pays me, and I grab the money. He walks away. When I counted the money, he was all counterfeit.
All of it.
Wow.
All of it, every single one of it. You know, maybe if I would have given me just one, I would have just said, okay, well, one out of, but all of it. So I went and got him. Said, dude, what are you? He already chugged 2 of the bottles down. So he.
So he knew what he did.
Yeah, he knew.
He knew what he did.
So.
Well, he had a pocket full of counterfeit money.
Yeah. So I said, you either, exchange this for real money, or we're gonna have an issue here.
What was going to be the issue?
The issue ended up being me hitting him upside the head with one of the empty bottles because he couldn't come up with the money.
Yeah.
And the other ones, after I did that, I poured them on the floor. I said, you could have asked for maybe free and you wouldn't have gotten this problem.
Counterfeit money. That's something. Coming back to your cycling, how long have you been a cyclist?
See, I started 7 years ago.
Okay, and I know I've been downtown when they have had I don't know what the race is called.
Yeah, it's called a criterium.
Criterium.
Yes.
Sounds like an insect.
Talk about that.
Let's see. This is how I got started. One day I went downtown and there was this bicycle race going on. And I went on a regular bicycle. I asked the person, hey, do you have like a regular person category? He goes, yes, we have what we call the citizens race. So I joined that and I couldn't.
And you're literally just getting on a bike from, where'd you buy the bike at?
Yeah, I bought it at Jeff's Bike Shop.
Yeah. So, but you bought it
And
a
it
local
was just
business.
a
here
local
in-
business, and it was just like a little cruising bike. It was not a road bike or by any means. I got dropped, they call it, so many times because these guys were like regular people. I was just regular cyclist. And I said, man, I didn't like this. So I got into it. I started training more and did a couple of more. And then I set a goal. I said, I need to one day get on that podium. I need to get on that
Hell
podium.
yeah, you wanted to win.
Yeah, I want to win. I cannot have all my friends come here watch me and me coming in not getting on the podium. So I got on the podium on my 3rd race. And then
And how far was the race?
it was 30 minutes full,
As fast as you
as
can run.
fast as you can go. And
Where they track you on laps? How many laps you did in 30 minutes?
yeah, they track you. They just start the clock on whoever is in front. Basically, he's the one who's going to set the pace on how many laps they're going to do. So then I got, again, on my 4th race, I got a 2nd place. Then I got a 3rd place. And that day, I didn't know they were doing the national state championship. And not knowing, just the way I placed in the whole group of people of my age group, I won the West Virginia State Championship.
Nice. That's
West Virginia State Championship?
Yeah, on my age group.
That's huge, man. That's huge. I didn't know. I would have never known that.
You're the second person that I've known that's been a cyclist. One of our buddies from the Marine Corps, his mom was a big time cyclist, and she used to win races in Florida quite often. And he's the guy I went in the Marine Corps with, and his mother was in a horrific bike wreck. A car ran over, I think it was like 20 of them.
Yeah.
And he actually had to leave the fleet, go down to Florida, and take care of his mom for the remainder of his enlistment, which was about 18 months.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dangerous when I get out there, and that's why I usually like to go out in a group. Sometimes cars see you more when you're in a big group.
Alejandro, I mean, do you feel weird putting them tights on?
At the beginning, I did, but now
We like to see it, so I mean, it's cool.
I mean, it's nice. The glutes,
Serious.
good
Serious.
glutes, jockey glutes.
Yes.
Very, very
If you
good
will.
jockey, if you will.
Yeah, that's from the.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it.
That's from pedaling up the hills, you know.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's winning
And that's-
races.
Well, that's the
too.
best part because then you like stand up and everybody can see your glutes. I
mean,
you're like
Yes,
really pumping it
yes,
out.
Yes.
I feel like if you're a West Virginia state champion, you should have an ass on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like a thoroughbred.
Yeah, you should definitely have a donkey butt dragging
Yeah,
it
okay.
around. I mean,
Yeah.
that's good. Good for you, Alex.
Well, thank you.
Good for you. I'm impressed.
I never thought I had a donkey ask, but I
Yeah,
guess.
well, I guess. I never really looked, but I'm just assuming.
Okay. That makes me feel better.
I remember we were driving down the road and you were coming out to the bottom of your hill on your bike and we yelled something at you. And you
Well,
didn't-
I think that was me that
was-
yelled.
Yes, yes.
And I'm not sure what it was, but
Look at that donkey.
I don't think that was it. But like either way, I just was really excited that you were getting after it and enjoying what you've created. You know, I mean, that's the biggest thing for me, and the thing that I respect most about you is that a long time ago, you went through hard ass stuff in order to make the American dream possible. And you are continually doing that every day. More than that, you're taking advantage of what this area, Appalachia, you know, like this area that we have here, you're taking advantage of that by going and exploring it on two wheels.
Yes.
And that's amazing. I think that people that are listening should understand that there's more to that. You earned this. You earned this. Like, you had to earn this. We were born into this, and it shows. The word settle is kind of strong, but it shows somebody that goes through all of those things, and you know, one thing after another, finds their way to somewhere and stays. And that's huge.
Yes.
That says a lot about what this area, I don't just mean Huntington. I don't just mean this part of West Virginia. I mean just Appalachia in general. There's a draw to it.
This is the place that I have felt more comfortable, and I find it beautiful, the people, and I think I speak also for my wife. She loves it here, you know.
Milka will be another time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Milka's
She's
not,
over there shaking her head right now.
Milka's here right now, just so everybody knows. I know you guys can't see us, but Milka's here. Milka's going to take some pictures of us and all that. But like, she's on the chopping block as well. So she's probably over there making mental notes.
Probably.
Back to the thing that interests me the most is that I'm a transplant to West Virginia. I mean, born and raised in Florida. Nate was born and raised in Pennsylvania. You were born and raised for 8 years in Cuba, or how do you say it? Cuba.
Yeah.
Cuba. In Cuba.
Cuba.
And then it's weird to me because I mean, I'm a go-getter. I will go out there and I'll work my brains out and I will build something from the ground up. You did the same thing, but it was so much harder because you're coming to an area you're coming to a place where, did you speak English when you came to America?
When I came to Virginia, that I started in high school, I barely spoke English.
Wow.
Barely.
And look at you now.
I can barely speak still.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, but you look good in bike shorts. So I mean, it doesn't matter if you talk.
Whoa, wait, are we still talking about the donkey?
I mean, we might as well
Is the
be.
donkey still here? Are we still talking about the donkey? That's a lot, man. That's a lot. No, I mean, I go with John on this, and I say, like, you know, I mean, that's amazing. Like, you did those things, but like, did you find any resistance to what you were trying to do? Was it the process of becoming a business owner? Was it motivational driven?
Well, let me see how I found the same resistance that I think any entrepreneur would find. I think that when you're doing it outside of your element, your country, it gives you a little bit more drive because you have no choice. You have, it's either when my wife and I, if we fail on something or something happens, I don't have an aunt here or uncle or that I can go, okay, help me out here, you know. So I think that's a lot of the mentality of.
So you're saying, like, you because you come here basically on your own, it's more motivation. It's more of a push, a drive to say, hey, I got to make this happen. Like,
I think it is.
And that, well, I mean, that, and
a
that's
percentage of it that is.
And we need more of that in the Appalachian region, honestly. You could have gone anywhere that you wanted to, into any major metropolitan area, and you'd have been perfectly fine. You might not have become an entrepreneur, but you have a hardworking mentality and work ethic, and you could have done it anywhere. But you wound up here. same as me, same as Nate. We're all here. We're all hard workers, and if you work hard in this area, I mean, you're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Well, and that goes with this area in general, and we've hit on this in several other episodes, and we like to go on our social media, and Grunts in Appalachia on Instagram, like we are constantly after that blue collar side of things, and it seems to be, it's just a natural thing here. So you want to be, it sets you up enough. I mean, you can find your niche.
Your niche, that's a key.
If you find your niche, then you can flourish and you can thrive. I always kind of figured that this area would be tough for, and I use the term immigrant loosely.
Well, it is a word, and
but
that's what it is.
I use it loosely when I speak about you, but you can find that in there, that it was just the same for everybody. It's an accepting area. It's an accepting thing, and it's been welcoming to you. At the same time, it's caused you to be extremely welcoming to me, and it's kind of bred itself over and over again.
It spreads.
It does spread. It does, and it's been an amazing experience. I mean, like when I moved up here, you and your wife are for some of the first people I met, and I was captivated by it. And I mean, I couldn't be more appreciative to meeting you, meeting your wife, experiencing that, having dinner parties at your house. I mean, it's, we're actually filming this or we're recording this podcast at your house right now. I see your success, and I see how eager you are to show how contagious it can be if you want it and if you're willing to go after it. That's a lot to be said about you.
Well, thank you.
You obviously, I mean, owning nightclubs and stuff like that, you're obviously a night owl.
I am.
So what's your daily routine? Like, what time do you normally wake up in the morning?
Well, I've been trying to get up lately at 9 o'clock. But I used to, if I stay longer, if I stay too close till 4 in the morning, I won't be up until probably 1 in the afternoon or 12:30. And it doesn't matter. Sometimes I get tired, like during the day, let's say 5 o'clock, I feel sleepy. But once you hit a certain time, like 9 o'clock hits, it's like, okay.
That's daytime for you.
Yeah, it's daytime.
It's go time.
I got to add in on this. Dogs are playing. Gunny's our mascot, just so you know, which I think you already knew that. But so the dogs are playing.
He's got a squeaky toy, apparently.
There's squeaky toys going on. We're not going to edit that out because that's part of it, and that's how it is. Gunny comes here. He's coming to see his lady, and I will say she was dressed to the nines tonight,
Waiting
on Gunny. So he's pretty happy. So he's gonna squeak that toy, just letting her know, hey, I'm right here, boo.
I'm right here. Come
right
on
here,
over.
boo.
I'm right here, boo. Yeah. So I had to add that in there, and I think that needs to stay. And we're not gonna edit that. I mean, that's just two young lovebirds just kind of doing their thing. And as we look over there right now, he's got a long-legged pig in his mouth and whatever. Look how that's funny. She is pretty tonight. She's pretty tonight.
What kind of dog do you have there, Alejandro?
It's a standard poodle.
Standard poodle. I like its hair. It's got it all dressed up in a little bun on top of its head.
Yeah.
Well, she's a pretty lady, and Gunny wants her attention. That's for sure. Oh, she's talking too. Yeah. That's good.
We don't have jackrabbits, but we got dogs.
So
Let's go back to cycling. Have you rode basically all through Appalachia? I mean, what's your?
Not all through, but I have done a lot of the areas around Charleston. We went to Pax, to Paint Creek, which is
he just want to.
You don't want to let go.
Honestly, all he's trying to do is impress her. He just wants her to be so excited about the fact that he has that.
They're very accommodating here at the Vence house. We sat down to this podcast, and beers were put on the table. And then the best part about it was chips.
I know that you would love to hear me eat Ruffles Ridges.
Go ahead, chomp on one. Let's see what you hear. Let's
I have a chew in my mouth.
I got you. Here we go. Ruffles.
That sounds. Hey, listen, we did get some new equipment, so it really sounds good right now.
Yeah, it's a good quality.
Where do you get your bikes from?
I go to Jeff's Bike Shop.
Is that here locally in Huntington?
Local.
So shout out to Jeff's Bike Shop.
Yes, Jeff has been in business of selling bicycles in this town for 25 years.
Oh wow. We'll definitely tag him in this post then, since you gave him a shout out.
I find it crazy to think about. Like for me, I can't imagine selling bikes for 25 years. You know what I mean? Like that's
That he raised too.
That's passion.
Yeah, that's passion.
it is. It's 100% passion, and I can't imagine the weird stories that guy will tell you about things that people don't ever think about. You know, good for him. I mean, a small business owner, 25 years strong,
Obviously successful.
Yes.
very successful. Obviously, I mean, I think that you are probably a flash in the pan if you're not. You know what I mean, you're not, and you're out. And that goes with you too, though. I mean, like. You can own a bar. I mean, people like to drink, but if you don't own a legitimate establishment, then it's gone too.
They don't last, yeah.
And so, what's the key to success? You know, being a small business owner in Appalachia. What's your take on it?
My take on it is that you have to give a good product. You have to treat people with respect. You have to make people feel welcome, and you have to pay attention to your employees, make sure that everybody's doing what they need to be doing. And also, I lost my train of thought there for a second.
Yeah, you can lose it all you want, man. We're talking to you.
We do the same thing.
This whole thing is about you.
Maybe it's that gin and tonic. Who
It
knows?
might be.
Maybe it's the gin and tonic.
It might be.
It doesn't matter what it is, man. We're here to hear about you.
So also you need there are some businesses that you have to micromanage, and this is one of them.
Oh, I can see that. I mean, you got to stay
Yeah.
on top of your employees and everything else. Absolutely.
Yeah, I do all of my liquor orders. I go get it. I make sure that the new stuff that's coming, I know what it's coming, and new bourbons. We have probably the biggest selection of bourbons in Huntington, and that's one of our strong sellers and all the.
So how does your weekly breakdown then? I mean, I know you used to send me messages on Instagram about I can't remember what night of the week it was for
Wednesday.
Whiskey Wednesdays.
Whiskey Wednesdays, 20% off on all of the whiskeys.
Get down there on Wednesdays.
Yes, and
You
then
better
also,
get down there.
Also, I am very lucky that my wife is 100% involved, so she takes care of all these nice cocktails and martini recipes.
You know what I mean? Like, she was the one that was supposed to be bringing me beers, I think. Does she run a business like she brings me beers? Because, oh my God.
Milk is amazing.
Yeah,
I
no,
love
milk.
Your wife
Yeah,
is awesome.
no,
and she just
we all
celebrated
love
her birthday,
Milka.
right?
We all love milk.
What's that?
I think we just celebrated her birthday dinner.
We did.
Was that last night or 2 nights ago?
No,
See,
last
I'm
night.
losing my mind now too.
It was last
last night.
It was last night.
Okay.
She's been celebrating for 2 weeks.
Well, that's what you do, man.
Yeah, we went to Asheville, had a great time.
Oh, that's nice. Did you guys go to the Biltmore?
We did.
Very cool.
Very-
That's also Appalachia.
Yes, it
beautiful-
is. All of that area is Appalachia. All of that
An
area.
amazing place.
So not only do you live in Appalachia, but when you decide to go out of town for a birthday,
still on
you
Appalachia.
stayed in Appalachia.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
But the Biltmore Estate is a pretty amazing thing to see.
Oh God, my gosh, yes. It was.
You guys toured the whole thing, and
We tour as much as they let you tour. Now I think they closed off a couple of areas because of COVID, but it was a really good experience.
The family, the Vanderbilts, it was a mess, but I'll say this. Anderson Cooper did not take any, of the payout on the, family
No,
or
he
whatever.
did. He did.
no, I didn't.
And he did that on purpose because he didn't want blood money, but I'm telling you, that dude would wear patent leather shoes and a cashmere sweater and straight hit and roll. He was down. I mean, that dude
With a
was
flat
down.
jacket on.
That dude was down. I mean, he was down, and he was. Anderson Cooper is a beast. I mean, I don't care what anybody says about him, CNN, all those things. Anderson Cooper is a beast, dude. He's a beast.
Well, you were there where you could tell.
He's a beast.
That's when the person.
He's a beast.
You go, hey.
Nate's over here defending the national media. I'm disappointed right now.
I mean, I don't watch CNN.
They're liars. They're all liars.
I don't watch the
No,
news.
we're talking about his character, the guy's character, and his courage.
Yeah,
That you wouldn't. He doesn't foresee that when you watching him do the news, but he's seen him on a different situation.
Yeah, he's a beast. I mean, and that's kind of like what we like that. You know, I mean, that's kind of our thing. That's kind of why we're sitting here. It's not kind of why, it's why we're sitting here right now. You know, Alejandro, I think you're a beast, man.
A donkey beast.
A beast with a donkey. A beast with a donkey.
Yeah, like it's like a weird thing. I don't know what that means, but either way, I mean, you're a beast, man. You've went through the furthest left that you could be. You know, I don't mean that politically. I mean that just like the furthest away that you can be in communist Cuba to, you know, coming to the States, then going to the
Puerto
Rico, then coming back, and then going to Spain, then dealing with that, then coming over here and going to military high school. And it fits so well with what we are talking about and how we, you know, design what this is and what we're doing right here. I know that gave you structure. I know that gave you an understanding of things in military high school that, you know, your average kid didn't actually get a chance to experience. And it's probably better that you saw the military side of things when you came here, even though you were like, you know, they just were like, yeah, send them to military school. But you got to see that and you got to experience that. And when you did, you saw the structure, you understood how things work. And you said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make all of this work and I'm going to build myself. I'm going to build myself as a brand. And you've done so. I was impressed by you the first time I shook your hand. Glad to call you a friend. I'm glad to, you know, be sitting at your table right now talking about this. I would have never known your struggle, your success like it is unless you told me. And I'm so glad that you're willing to share that.
Well, I'm happy to share it. And thank you I appreciate your friendship very much. And John's too.
John's.
I remember. Yeah, shut up. I remember. That was last summer. No, last summer was COVID. It was the summer before, wasn't it? We were out on the boat. Cave Run Lake, and Alejandro was like, let's throw the pull behind out there, and we'll just pull each other on the rafts. And he did his very best to try to launch me off of the wake as many times as possible. And then I turn around, they've got me driving the boat, and Alejandro's back there. And this crazy man, he gets up on his knees and then he's trying to do all these crazy tricks. I'm like, oh, he's getting thrown. I'm throwing him.
He did. That was a fun weekend.
That was a fun weekend. That was a really good weekend.
I didn't get the invite, or I wasn't. I didn't.
You were not here.
You
You were
yet.
not here.
No. So I mean, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, next time.
Unfortunately, we sold the boat. Well, we're gonna have to get another.
Oh no, you sold the boat. You still got kayaks.
We got kayaks now.
That's better for you.
Yeah, it's.
I'm down to take. I'm always down to take the river.
Take the river. I want to hear a crazy story from a bar or nightclub. I've heard about a place called Luna from numerous people in town. And we were actually sitting around talking, I think it was last night at dinner, people were talking about one of your sons owns the West Virginia building in downtown Huntington.
Yes.
And it's got an upstairs that's completely empty right now.
Huge penthouse.
Huge penthouse with a
glass everywhere.
Oh man, I actually got to stand there one night. I was having a couple of adult beverages with your son, and he goes, well, let's go up here and we'll drink a couple more in my place. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. We go up there and it's got this big glass overlook of the entire city of Huntington looking at the Ohio River. And I remember looking at him, I said, he was a Marine, right?
Your son was a Marine.
Yes.
Your son was a Marine.
Yeah, he was a
for
Marine.
sure.
So I'm standing there, and I know that since he's a Marine and I'm a Marine, we can say basically whatever we want to each other. I said, I've actually looked up at this window numerous times. Like, I'd like to stand here naked. And all he said to me, and I'll never forget it, he just looked at me and he goes, I can go in the other room. He's like, I do it all the time. You can go ahead. And I was just like, man, that's awesome. I mean, I didn't do it. I should have. Looking back, I should have.
I would have.
It gives you that feeling when you stand there.
It's like, yeah.
I'm honestly naked.
I'm looking down at all the little people.
I'm naked right now. I'm naked right now.
I hope not. What was it?
Luna was the first bar that we opened here. And
Okay.
we had that Miami mentality that we have been down there for a while. So we made it very Miami-like, South Beach style to it. It was like a lounge. It was more sofas, and then
Were they like white plush?
they were white and orange.
White and orange.
And
That's a lot.
we had cocktail waitresses, so you actually could sit there, and cocktail waitress would come up to your table, and you place an order of the drinks with her. We had appetizers also. I think it was a little bit ahead of its time. I'm talking now, probably 15 years ago or more. But that was our first experience.
And what was the name of the second one that you all had?
Peckers,
Peckers.
and it was.
That was the wild one,
That
right?
was wild.
That was the wild
I think that Woody Woodpecker atmosphere or logo was what made people, go in there and go, oh, we're hanging out with Woody Woodpecker.
Well, I mean, everybody wants to say they're at Peckers.
Yes, everybody. It was just, where are you at Peckers? There's a bar somewhere, I don't know if it's in North Carolina or South Carolina, it's called Big Peckers.
Yeah, oh yeah. No,
That's
no
where I
doubt,
hang out.
Yeah. Why? Because are you
I
waiting
like-
outside?
I
You're
like
waiting
big
outside.
woodpeckers.
Yeah, you're waiting outside, or what? What are you doing? Did they even let you in, John?
Well, yeah. They do a panty check at the door.
Yeah, oh my god. Oh my god. Well, I'm in.
No, you're not.
I'm going.
Oh man.
But that was pretty wild. It was old college bar. So a lot of stuff went on there. A lot of stuff. We usually had
elaborate on that. You can't say a lot of stuff happened there and not elaborate.
there was at least 3 fights a night, and me being hands-on micromanager, I like the security part of the bar business. So I was always somehow ended up always in the middle of it.
Nuh-uh.
So there was a lot.
I can attest to that because I mean I've worked for you at one of your bars, and I remember you not saying anything to any of the people that were working security. All I did was turn around as I'm working the door, taking IDs, and I turn around and see Alejandro just drop somebody right by the bar, and I'm like, "Whoa!" It caught me off guard, and I ran over there, and you have security for a reason.
Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta act
On impulse.
An impulse and little millisecond, could make a difference. You always try to be nice and say, "Hey, can you please leave?" Well,
Yeah, I was born for impulse.
yes.
What was it in Roadhouse, the movie that he said? But what if that guy calls my mama?
My mama whore. And he goes, is she?
Yeah, exactly.
Always be nice until it's not time to be nice.
Yeah. If they don't walk them.
Alejandro did no walking that evening. He just
Well, I mean that's not a bad thing. I mean
he went off the Cobra
how it
Kai
works.
mentality of strike first,
that's
strike
how,
hard,
but that's how it works. I mean that's what you do. You walk them.
unconscious sometimes.
Sometimes you drag them.
Yeah, sometimes you carry him out.
If they won't walk, you drag them.
It's people. Some people just can't
Understand.
sometimes. I'm trying to. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm trying to, give you a fair warning.
And then he gets to that point, and he's like, "Ring his bell, ring his bell."
Yeah, the bar business is an interesting business.
I'm sure it is.
You get that.
I have a hard time, because I've always been the patron, and I have a hard time sometimes understanding the back end of the bar. Like the business end of the bar. And I find myself at a bar, and I say, "Oh well, I can do whatever I want." I'm the customer. The customer is always right. And I mean, I'm probably kind of embellishing a little bit because that's not really how I am, and you know that because I've
Yes.
been at your establishments over and over. But at the same time, I think about like I don't see the back end. I don't see the work that goes into what is sitting in front of me.
Yeah. For example, today, like I said, we do our own getting supplies, keeping the place stocked, liquor, beer, napkins, this, that. So, and I usually, instead of splitting it in a few days, I usually leave it for Friday. So it's a long day to have everything set up. By the time the bartenders get there, everything is nice, everything is set up. Everything is clean. So it's a lot of work. A lot of work.
I mean, one of the things that I want to ask you about is how do you handle now Appalachia in this area is very, very homeless friendly.
Are we going there?
I think we need to go there. It's something that it kind of goes with the American dream theme that we've been talking about with, Alejandro. Like, I mean, the phoenix rising from the ashes kind of thing. But it's here, it seems like the homeless, there's no ashes to rise from. They're just the phoenix already. And as a business owner in this community, I would think that would be tough. And, I've worked for you. Some people just want to come in and get a drink of water.
Or use the bathroom.
Use the bathroom always. It's just like, I don't think enough is said about Huntington in particular, about how much this area caters to the homeless. I'm going to sit here right now and say that I'm not the most supportive of what is going on with the homeless here. I think it's maybe kind of a scam a little bit. It seems a little bit much for me, but it's happening. As a business owner here, how do you combat that whole no money thing in a money business? I mean, like, how do you combat that? What do you do?
Well, from when the time we got here 18 years ago to today, there was a lot more homeless when I got here 18 years ago.
Really?
There was more.
To the point when I came here, I didn't open a bar right away. We were managing the Emmons building.
Okay.
And that was like a nightmare.
I'm sure it was.
It was like homeless people on the hallways. They waited until I didn't stop walking the hallways. And sometimes I would come back at night. There were 6 or 7 people. So it's gotten a lot better. It has gotten better. You see more now young people because of the opioids, more homeless young people than you see. Like when I got here was like older people that were
what you typically see.
What you typically see. Like I said, I went to Asheville this past weekend, and there was a lot of young homeless people.
It's probably been 5 or 6 years since I've been to Asheville, but all I can remember from Asheville, we used to go there all the time growing up. That was my dad's favorite place to go to. He wanted to go to the mountains, and he wanted to go to a nice place. And Asheville was completely different when I was a kid. Now, going there 5 or 6 years ago, all I took away from it was this place is full of dreadlocks, hippies, and homeless people.
I mean, there was a whole community.
And they're all artists.
Yes, a whole community underneath the bridge, everybody on tents, young people. But coming back to the Huntington, I'm the kind of person that I talk to anybody, anywhere. Sometimes I'll see a homeless person and I just approach him.
I agree with that.
And ask him. You always learn something from, especially for somebody that's going through all of that. But some of them could be a problem. I have to tell some of them, hey, I don't want you here because you don't want you interacting with my customers coming out the door.
That was my direction on that. Like that was the direction I was going there, because I mean, how do you deal with the problem people that have nothing? You know what I mean? And that's where I was going with that. So yeah, you're right on track.
It could become an issue, sitting in front of your place, doing, or
dogs are doing a love dance right now, and like they're just,
and some of these people
they're loving each other.
Sometimes having mental issues, and it's hard on the community, and it's hard, and there's nothing being done.
To kind of throw that back and keep it going, it's like I would say that the homeless population in Appalachia is so strong because I'd be willing to go against what you said, nothing being done, that there is an overage of things being done, because you can't go to a public library and plug your phone in, because there's so many people that are trying to. You have a public library that their electric bill's so high because they're catering to the homeless, but on the the other side of that sword is the fact that this area is embracing and accepting to anybody.
It's the compassion, I think, that people in this area have for
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah.
There used to be a huge community by the riverbank.
I remember when they actually did away with that. There was
Yes.
one there, and there was one in Guyandot that they got rid
Yeah.
of,
It
and that
was-
was just a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking
Tent City.
Yeah,
And these people, they hear from somewhere, from there, they're over here, they're over there, and they hear that this is a good spot. I'm not just talking about Huntington. I'm talking about Asheville. I'm talking about Appalachia in general. And it's the fact that we've all seen struggle one way or another. The three of us sitting here at this table, we've all seen struggle. And it's in different forms and it's in different ways, but we've seen it.
some people, you know, you can help and they'll accept the help and take advantage of whatever you want to do for them. Some of them just,
Take advantage. That's it.
yeah.
They just take advantage.
Some take advantage and they don't care. Nothing is being done. I mean, there's not an actual, some sort of a program. A lot of these people need little motivation, a little feel like okay, I'm going to work, but some of them don't care.
Well, I mean, we give them cell phones, we give them places to.
But in their
eat.
defense, I think a lot of them, the majority of especially I'll say the elder homeless people, are mentally.
Well, and John does, you know, a lot of outreach stuff with, you know, the addicts and the homeless population and things like that. John kind of has his finger on the pulse of that whole vibe, but at the same time, I see it, and I see it as something that it's not misunderstood, but it's a thing that can easily be taken advantage of, and this community, all the way through Appalachia, seems to be very accepting of that because they've recognized struggle. I mean, I recognize struggle